You've survived 100% of your worst days, mama. And now it's time to focus on something so much bigger than just surviving. I'm Ashley Morales, your empathetic witness, and welcome to HealHer, Rise from Trauma and Grief, the podcast where we embrace the healing process, reclaim our power, and today, finally stop waiting for closure in order to move forward in our lives. Today, we're diving deep into something that I know many of you have struggled with, the misconception that closure is the end of the healing journey. It's time to shift that mindset. Let's get started. Welcome to my very first episode of this amazing podcast that I'm so excited for you to be on this journey with me. I'm sitting in my office all cozy under a blanket. I hope you're somewhere cozy as well. And let's jump into the myth of closure. It's really not the end, it's the beginning. And for many of us, especially after trauma or grief, we often get stuck. We're stuck on this idea that closure is something that we have to achieve before we can truly move on. And we think that once we get this, air quotes, closure, whether it's from a person or a situation or an event, then we'll be free of the pain. But nothing could be farther from the truth. Really, that can become extremely frustrating because closure isn't a destination. And grief, which by my definition of grief, I need you to know this because this is our first time speaking. Grief is something that resides in the body after a loss. Now, what is a loss? Now, a loss is so many things. Many of us automatically go to a loss of a loved one. However, whenever there's a change in circumstance, whether that's a loss of a situation, a loss of innocence, a loss of friends that we moved away from. All of this is under the umbrella of grief because the body holds grief and trauma in the exact same way. So, when I speak of grief, this is what I'm talking about. And this grief, it does not follow a neat linear timeline with a clear endpoint. Oh no. Trauma isn't something that we can just close the door on once we've had the right conversation or get the right answers. It's really a process, and healing is a process. And it's not about rushing to the end of it. It's about allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to learn and grow. And really, we're learning how to integrate our pain into our story without it defining you. So, you can start your healing right now. You don't need closure to begin. In fact, healing can happen alongside grief and alongside the chaos of trauma. And that's exactly what I want to help you understand today. So, one thing that I do want you to strive towards is emotional wholeness, because healing really is about feeling whole again. It's not about perfection. And sometimes that's a misconception that we have, that we want to begin our healing and it requires us to be perfect in order to do so. Another misconception is that we have to fix what's broken inside of us. Like there's this special super glue that's going to put all the pieces back together. And it's just not true. Healing is not about erasing the past or pretending that you're okay when you're not. It's about embracing wholeness. And wholeness, to me, when I think of it, I think of there's versions of us that may be frozen in time because of trauma or grief or a loss that was experienced by our younger self, that in that moment, we didn't get to say what we needed to say. We didn't get to feel the emotions as big as we needed to feel them. So that little version of ourselves is still there, frozen in time, waiting for you to hear her. And that is what I help you accomplish, is listening to her. Because When we understand that this embracing of the wholeness, it's okay for it to be messy and it's going to be beautiful. And this grieving process really shows that you're growing. And you don't need to wait and feel completely healed in order to start living again. And the truth is, we seriously do not have to have it all figured out to begin the healing process. We just need to take one step at a time. And it's really about making peace with the journey and not about racing towards some mythical end. Right now, whether you realize it or not, you are already healing. So, what are some small but powerful steps we can take? Well, I can share those with you, but you might be feeling, okay, Ashley, that's great. It all sounds awesome, but I feel stuck. Where do I even begin? Well, the truth is many of us feel like there's just so much to heal. And here's the thing, you don't need to do it all at once. The power of healing comes from the small steps, and most importantly, the very next correct step. And it's not about these grand gestures or these massive leaps forward. It's about the things that you do every single day, and you create space for your emotions. You set boundaries, you nurture yourself, and you're gentle with your body. And then you allow yourself moments of peace, even in the chaos. Healing can start right where you are. I understand you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed. However, adding to the list that you're waiting for this big moment of closure is not going to make that better. So let's start with something that you can do today. Well, let's start right now. So let's make a list of things that we can do in order to make these small steps to get closer to emotional wholeness, okay? Number one, take a few moments to breathe. And this can take literally 30 seconds. Let's do it right now. If you're driving, please be safe. So take a moment to put both feet on the ground. Put one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly, and take a deep breath in. And when you breathe out, make sure that breath out is longer than the breath in, like this. Okay, again. Out. Beautiful. You've just taken a moment to really give your nervous system some attention. Journaling is another thing next on the list. Really write out how you're feeling and don't hold back. If you're feeling like it's getting aggressive, you feel like there's things in there that you would never want anyone to see because it's ugly, ugly things, that's okay. I want you to then tear those pages out and go set them on fire because that, my friend, is what I call a barf and burn. You've barfed out your feelings onto the page and now we're going to burn them so that they don't hurt anyone or yourself anymore. The next step is reaching out for support. We all have someone that we can think of that just brings peace into our life, and reach out to that person, even if it's just a hello. That building of community is so healing. So these are just small steps you can take to bring you closer to emotional wholeness. And guess what? That's progress. And that is what we're looking for. If you're listening to this right now and you're feeling like it's time to start your healing journey, I want to personally invite you to take the next step with me. As a certified grief counselor, I'm here to help you navigate your unique path to emotional wholeness without the pressure of closure. Together, we can explore what healing looks like for you and create a plan that fits your life without rushing it. So if you're ready to stop waiting and start healing, head to the link in the show notes and fill out the quick form to book a consultation with me. This is your time, Mama. You deserve to heal, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of HealHer, Rise from Trauma and Grief. I hope this conversation helped you feel seen, heard, and empowered to embrace your healing process without waiting for closure. I don't want anyone here waiting for closure. Remember, you're worthy of healing, and you don't need to have everything figured out to start. You've got this, Mama. Take the next step, and I'll see you soon.